What is going on, everybody? This is Mike from Budget Friendly Car Reviews. So today I've compiled a list of 6 cars under $4,000. But before we jump right into this video today, I've just recently made a Twitter page. So go ahead and make sure you follow that. I will link it in the description below. So let's hop right into it. So I know a lot of parents is looking for cars for their kids that's in high school and or college. So therefore I compiled a list. So our very first vehicle, we're gonna hop right into it. It's a 2005 to 2010 Chevy Cobalt. Now, this vehicle right here, you can get it in either a coupe or a sedan version. And it has a 13-gallon fuel tank, which means you will save gas in the long run as well. Smaller gas tank, less you pay in gas. It's a 4-cylinder engine, and you can get 25 in the city miles per gallon and 37 on the highway for a combined of 25 miles per gallon. And the engine ranges for horsepower is 155 to 260 horsepower. And all of my information that I've gathered for you guys either came from Craigslist, Cars.com, Edmunds, Car Gurus, and Kelly Blue Book Value. And what I've researched about these cars, a lot of people said for the cons, which is the bad, some of the controls in the cars looks kind of cheap. I mean, that's personal preference. And then you got the seat comfort. They said when they go on long road trips, the front seat can be a little bit uncomfortable. But I mean, I imagine if you stop and take breaks, it probably won't be that bad. And also, they said that the engine is a little bit noisy. Now, this can be just depending on how you maintain the car overall, then it could be getting noisy overall in the long term, but that just depends on how you took care of the car and proper maintenance on it. Now, the pros that I did get, which I've read, it's very reliable, and the value that you get for the money is unbeatable. And with it being a 4-cylinder, it's a gas saver. So that's overall the rundown of this car right here. Like I said, you can get it pretty cheap. Look on Craigslist if you're looking to buy from a private seller. You can get them for even cheaper than what you might find at the dealership. Okay, guys, for our second vehicle, now we have a 2002 to 2006 Nissan Altima. Now, this car only comes in a 4-door sedan. Now, this car, you got 2 different engine sizes. You got a 4-cylinder and a 6-cylinder engine. Now, you can get this vehicle in an automatic or manual. And the ranges for horsepower for this vehicle is 175 horsepower to 260 horsepower. And it only comes in front-wheel drive. So that's good if you stay in a colder, snowier climate where it's always raining or snowing or just got ice on the ground. You won't slip and slide with it just being in the rear wheel drive. So you have front wheel drive in this car, which is a plus. So your miles per gallon in the city, you will get 21 miles per gallon and 29 on the highway for a combined of 24 miles per gallon. Now this might vary depending on which engine size you get. But according to Cars.com, this car has gotten 3.5 stars out of 5 stars total. So it's kind of a good vehicle in the long run. So I couldn't find any bad things about this car as negative reviews like for the bad cons for it. But for good, I've seen that it's reliable. A lot of people like the styling, and they said that it's comfortable for long road trips and just overall driving on the highway. They said it's very quiet and comfortable. So that's a big plus, especially when you're looking for a cheaper vehicle in this lineup. For our third vehicle, we have a 2001 to 2005 Honda Civic. Now this vehicle right here is only one engine size. As for the cylinder size, it's only available in 4 cylinders. It is a front wheel drive vehicle as well as the other 2 vehicles that we just reviewed. Now you can either get this in a coupe or a sedan version, automatic or manual. Now I know a lot of people love these Honda Civics just because they're so customizable with aftermarket parts such as body kits, spoilers, different wheels. You can customize this car to do just about anything. If you are a fan of the Fast and Furious movies, you'll notice that these cars are in those movies. So it's very customizable. So depending on which variant of the 4-cylinder engine you get, you'll get 21 miles per gallon in the city, 34 miles per gallon on the highway for a combined miles per gallon of 30 miles per gallon. So the good, it's reliable. You know, Hondas are reliable. They have a long history of being reliable. It's a quiet car, a lot of people say, and the ride comfort, they stated, is very comfortable. Now the bad, this car is kind of ugly, they stated, the appearance wise. It's kind of dated. But I mean, if you're on a budget, you really can't beat the way it looks. And a downplay in it is ABS brakes are not available on all models. They're only available on the upper, higher end of the models, but that'll put you over the $4,000 price mark that we're trying to stay under for these vehicles. Okay, number 4, we have the 2006 to 2010 Hyundai Sonata. Now this vehicle is front wheel drive as well. It's a sedan. You can't get it in a coupe or anything else, just a straight sedan. Now you can get this vehicle in automatic or manual, and it does come in 4-cylinder or 6-cylinder engine. Now, as in all the other vehicles, the miles per gallon will vary depending on which engine you get. So you will get 21 in the city, 30 on the highway for a combined of 24 miles per gallon. Now, according to cars.com, they gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. And the good, they stated, is very roomy in the inside. The engine is smooth. It's smooth on the highway as well. And the value overall, the value for the price that you're paying, you can't beat it. And the bad, I only saw really one bad thing about it is the front seats are very uncomfortable after a long road trip. But this, you can avoid it by just simply just stopping and taking breaks after a while of driving. Okay, guys, for our 5th vehicle, we have a 2001 to 2006 Acura MDX. Now, this vehicle is an SUV, and you can get it in a front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Now, it does only have one engine size, which is the V6 engine, and it has 240 horsepower to 265 horsepower, depending on the variant of the V6 that you do get. Now, it's not a manual transmission. You can only get this vehicle in the automatic. And with this vehicle, you will, depending on that V6 that you have, you will get 17 miles per gallon in the city, 23 on the highway for a combined miles per gallon of 20. Now, cars.com did give this vehicle 4 out of 5 stars, so you can see that it's liked by a lot of people. Now, the good that I've seen on this vehicle is the leg room in the rear seats is very good. The car is very quiet, and you also, depending on if you have that screen, you will get a navigation setup in this vehicle. Now, some of them do have a 3rd row seat. Not all of them have a 3rd row seat, but I can imagine with this vehicle being a smaller SUV, that 3rd row is probably not as big as some of the different size vehicles, but you do nonetheless get a 3rd row seat. So something to look into. Also, this vehicle, is kind of compared to Lexus, for that value of it, what you're getting in this vehicle. Like I said, you will get that navigation depending on which trim level you get as well. So that's a plus as well. Okay, guys, for our 6th and final vehicle, we have a 1998 to 2012 Crown Victoria, the infamous Crown Victoria, also known as the Crown Vic. Now, this vehicle is a rear wheel drive vehicle. I can't talk. So this vehicle is a rear wheel drive. So if you stay in a colder climate, I would not recommend it. Where if you don't know how to drive in snow, rain, or sleet or anything like that, this vehicle is not good for you. Especially if you're a newer driver, I would not recommend this vehicle for you to drive in the winter time. Now, if you're more experienced and you feel comfortable with it, go ahead. So that takes us into the bad about it from the reviews that I've read. So a lot of people said that it's poor traction. With this vehicle being as big as it is, I can honestly see that. And if you're a teen driver or a new student driver or anything like that, do not get this vehicle if you do not know what you're doing, because it will fishtail and slide out the way and crash into something. So please just don't do it. Now, the fuel economy in the city, they said, is very bad. Now we're going to hop right into the fuel. So the fuel for this vehicle, you get 17 in the city, 25 on the highway, and combined 21 miles per gallon. So as you can see, with it being a V8 engine, which that's the only engine that comes in, and it's putting out 224 horsepower to 239 horsepower, depending on which year you get, because that's a big year gap in between 98 to 2012. So you can honestly see the fuel will be bad. So if you're trying to stay budget, with your fuel and all of that, price budgeting that you will be doing while you're in high school or college, do not get this vehicle. But plus, on the plus side of this vehicle, it does take E85, which is flex fuel, depending on which year. Now, all years take the flex fuel, depending on the year. Now, I also seen from the reviews that I read on it, the interior space is very good. Now, they don't make these big vehicles like this anymore, so that's why it's kind of a gem on finding these vehicles. And the trunk capacity. This vehicle being a large vehicle, you will be able to stuff a lot of stuff into this trunk. So that's that takes me back to if you're going to college. But if you don't know how to drive, do not get this vehicle and it's a rear wheel drive, because that without it having that traction that you need, you will have an accident if you don't know how to drive this vehicle. But that trunk capacity, if you're in college, you might need it. If you especially if you're driving down to college, you could store all your stuff in your trunk and just drive it straight there. But also, I seen the ride quality and comfort is it's very comfortable with this being a very large vehicle. So I would recommend taking a look into it. Now, these vehicles, you can find them under $4,000, but me personally, I wouldn't recommend you spend no more than $2,000 on this vehicle, just because over the long terms of these vehicles, you really can't find this car, without its high mileage, because they were former cop cars or either taxi cabs or something like that. So I would recommend you spend no more than $1,500 to $2,000 on this vehicle at max. If someone tries to sell you it for more than that, just walk, because there's plenty of these vehicles out there that you can find for under $1,500 to $2,000. Also, you can mod these cars to do pretty much anything. They're very reliable cars. If you look them up, you can see some people even got 400,000 miles out of these cars without even replacing the engine or transmission. These cars are very durable in the long run. Okay, everybody, I hope y'all like this list that I combined for y'all. Hopefully, it will help you determine on which car you guys are looking for your high school graduate or college teen or whatever it is that you guys are looking for. Hopefully this video helped, and I will see you in the next video. If you're here for the very first time, hit that subscribe button and follow me on Twitter, that I will link in the bottom of this description.